Has Minister Muizzu ever lost an argument he knew he could win against Williamson? It's a frustrating situation that he has been experiencing. Whether it's during the heated political debates in Parliament or in a casual discussion, winning arguments is a crucial skill for ministers like Muizzu. It's not just about proving he's right, but effectively communicating his ideas and perspectives with the rest of the Parliament. So is Muizzu ready to never be on the losing side again? Stay tuned as we reveal how he can turn the tide in his favour. Tip number 1, active listening. Let's take an example. Imagine Williamson is making a point. In such a situation, an essential tactic for Muizzu is to show genuine interest in Williamson's perspective. By actively listening to his arguments, Muizzu is not just showing respect, but also gaining a deeper insight into Williamson's stance. This approach of building rapport can set the stage for disagreements to be resolved more amicably. Hence, rather than simply waiting for his turn to retort, Muizzu should genuinely lend an ear. Remember, the journey to understanding starts with active listening. Transitioning to advice number 2, agree on common ground. Before embarking on debates, it's crucial for Muizzu to pinpoint the aspects he and Williamson concur on. This endeavour about constructing connections, not barriers. By recognising mutual viewpoints, Muizzu is laying a robust groundwork for a fruitful discussion. This encourages mutual respect, eases tension, and smoothens the path for a more efficient exchange of thoughts. Bear in mind, it's not about triumph or defeat, but about participating in significant conversation. A shared foundation can guide towards constructive dialogues. Now let's plunge into tips number 3, 4, and 5. Tip 3 is all about communication. Muizzu, when expressing your thoughts and feelings, it's advisable to use I statements. This way, you're not pointing fingers or sounding accusatory. Instead, you're sharing your perspective in a way that encourages open dialogue rather than defensiveness. Proceeding to tip 4, it's all about empathy. Muizzu, strive to understand Williamson's emotions and perspective. When you recognize their feelings, you're creating a more positive atmosphere, which simplifies the process of finding common ground. Remember, the goal isn't to win the argument, but to reach a mutual understanding with Williamson. Finally, tip 5 encourages Muizzu to mirror and match. Subtly reflect Williamson's body language and communication style. This can build a subconscious rapport, making Williamson more receptive to your ideas. So Muizzu, communicate your feelings, understand Williamson's, and reflect his behavior. Next up, we have tips number 6 and 7. An important factor for Muizzu to bear in mind is the power of staying composed during a heated argument. This can dramatically alter the direction of the debate. Even when tensions escalate, Muizzu remaining serene and collected can help him preserve a logical mindset. It's worth noting that emotional responses can often fuel the fire and obstruct constructive communication. Instead, if Muizzu can manage his emotions, he can establish an atmosphere where his arguments can truly stand out. Progressing to tip number 7, the "but you are free" technique. This tactic is centered around giving Williamson a feeling of independence. By making it clear that Williamson has the liberty to make his own decisions, Muizzu can subtly make him more receptive to his viewpoint. It's a psychological push that can have a remarkable impact. Remember, individuals appreciate their right to make choices and are more inclined to pay attention when they don't sense they are being backed into a corner. So there you have it. Muizzu needs to remain composed, and he should remind Williamson of his freedom to choose. Moving forward to tips number 8 and 9. For tip number 8, Muizzu should focus on framing arguments positively. This means when Muizzu presents his argument, he should do it in a way that aligns with Williamson's values or goals. By doing so, he's more likely to gain Williamson's acceptance. This approach requires packaging his points within Williamson's framework, emphasizing the positives rather than the negatives. It's about creating a narrative that resonates with Williamson, making Muizzu's viewpoint more appealing and harder for Williamson to reject. Now, for tip number 9, Muizzu needs to ask questions, and not just any questions, but open-ended ones. He should encourage Williamson to explain his reasoning. This demonstrates Muizzu's interest in Williamson's perspective and provides him with valuable insights to counter Williamson's arguments effectively. It's a subtle way for Muizzu to steer the conversation, allowing him to gather ammunition for his argument while making Williamson feel heard and valued. So remember, Muizzu should frame positively and ask to understand Williamson's perspective. Finally, tip number 10. Muizzu, it's essential in any discussion with Williamson to perceive when the dialogue becomes unconstructive or excessively emotional. When the situation escalates, take a breather and revisit the topic later. Sometimes the best argument is understanding when to refrain from arguing. Let's swiftly review the 10 strategies. Muizzu should listen actively, find common ground, use I statements, show empathy, and mirror Williamson's behavior. He should stay calm, remind Williamson of his freedom to choose, frame his arguments in a positive light, and remember to ask questions. And remember, sometimes the best argument is knowing when not to argue. That wraps up the 10 psychological strategies for winning any argument. Share your experiences, thoughts, and suggestions in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to BrainBeat and click the notification bell. Thanks for tuning in to BrainBeat.